miss me, I know I missed you. I can't believe these niggas ain't rapping this shit, man. Look. First time, she was in my math class. Long hair, brown skin with the fat ass. Sat beside me, used to laugh, had mad jokes. The teacher always got mad, so we...
What's up, guys? It's 2KC and J, back with another video. So first off, as you guys know, I'm trying to make every NBA vid now at least 7 minutes long. So I'm trying to make them longer. This is going to be a double upload day. Also, this is my first vid with my new microphone. I got it a couple days ago. And so, like, to celebrate, I guess, it's a double upload day. There's not going to be a lot of these. That's just, like, a lot of NBA news. And so, I actually had a Melo video that I planned on doing, but it was how he could get a ring, and it's like he can make the super team with like CP3, LeBron, and D Wade, and he could join the Rockets and like go ring chasing, and now he's on the OKC, so I can't really talk about the Rockets, and that's basically what happened before. So like now let's get into like the actual video. So this is a really unique big three because usually there's like a big man and like a big three, like, you know, there's Bosh or there was Kevin Love, and those are the persons that, like, those are the people, their points usually go down, but you don't know whose points are going to go down now because you have three perimeter players, usually ball dominant. We know like Paul George can kind of play off ball, but you're used to seeing him with the ball. So it's going to be interesting to see how three ball-dominant players will mesh. But the good thing is someone has to guard all three. And if you stunt their minutes correctly, and Billy Donovan does that, he can now play all three of them. Because the biggest thing that Russell Westbrook needed was help. Like against the Rockets, the reason why they lost primarily was because he had no help. And when he went to the bench, their offense and defense collapsed. So now they can have at least one or two of these players on the court at all times. And of course their benches has gotten significantly worse, but I mean it's still Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. Like, I don't know, are you going to complain about that? And I also saw, I might put the screenshot up on the screen if I can find it. It was from Hoops Nation on Instagram, but they're working on a deal with D Wade trying to get there. And if D Wade gets there, you never know. LeBron might be going to OKC next. And they're a small market team, so they really need that. In my opinion right now, Sam Presti is the best GM at the moment. Of course, we all know Pop is best coach, and that Celtics coach, I forgot his name. I'll remember it. It's like Brad Stevens. He's the second best coach, but Sam Presti is the best GM at the moment. I mean, if you look at what they've traded for those two, they're blockbuster trades. Victor Oladipo, who didn't fit the system, Sabonis, I can't say his first name, who could be bust or he could be like a good player, but not superstar level. And this Cancer, a good role player, but you still kept Steven Adams. Doug McDermott, who's a pure shooter, and you got two shooters either way, and a 2018 Bulls second-round pick. You have not given up a first-round pick yet, and you've gotten Carmelo Anthony and Paul George. I don't know about you guys, but I think that's pretty good. And that also changes my predictions for the standings. And I heard Stephen A. talking, and I also thought that he was pretty accurate in saying that Chris Paul was the biggest loser. Because now he doesn't have the $200 million, and he doesn't have Carmelo, and now Carmelo's on a team with more stars than the Rockets. So he's going right back to the second round. That's basically what happened, and he's not even getting $200 million. So that's a lose for CP3. That's a loss right there. And now the Thunder can say they're one of the only three teams with 20 points per game scores. And all three of these teams are in the West. And I'm pretty sure the East is going to be a cupcake walk this year. It's really only the Celtics and the Cavs. And I want to hear about the Wizards, like, it's really only the Celtics and the Cavs. And the West is, we all know the Warriors are probably going to come out, but if the Warriors get injured, that would make it so much more entertaining because you never know what's going to happen then. So with the Thunder, their 320 points per game scorers are Carmelo Anthony, Russell Westbrook, of course Paul George. Timberwolves, the Timberwolves with Karl Anthony Towns, Andrew Wiggins, and Jimmy Butler. And the Warriors with Kevin Durant, Steph Curry, and of course Klay Thompson. So now my predictions for who's gonna win, the standings in the West have significantly changed, because the Warriors, of course, number one. But I think the Thunder, if they mesh well enough and they get chemistry quickly, they could easily grab the number 2 spot. And, of course, I think the Rockets and Spurs, they're going 3 and 4. Of course, the Timberwolves are 5. But that runs on my top 5 now. And they're a way better team now because of this. And I don't know, they're going to be a problem this year, especially if they gel quickly. I mean, you never know what's going to happen, but hopefully they gel quickly. And another interesting thing is that now Melo's in like win now mode, because he's already gotten all the money in New York, and I don't know why people are burning his jersey, because he stayed there even through Phil Jackson and all that stuff, and he also have a bright future there with Porzingis. The Pacers, I don't know what the Pacers are going to do, honestly. I mean, Miles Turner, I guess, but you really don't know his potential. He has a lot of it, but it's not like he's like questionable with his potential, because some games you see the potential and in some games like he's way off. He's kind of up and down, but I think it depends. And who do you think? What I wonder, who's gonna like take who's gonna take like the least amount of shots? Like, who's gonna get that dip in their efficiency? Not even their efficiency. Who's gonna get that dip in their averages, like particularly scoring averages? Because it's usually the big man, like I said. Like for the Cavs, it was Kevin Love. For Kevin Love, people forget about how good of a star he was at the Timberwolves, because no one really watched the Timberwolves back then. Now more people are tuning in, but back then no one was watching them, and now they watch the Cavs and they're like, oh, he's trash. Why they trade Andrew Wiggins? But he was actually really good. Same thing with Chris Bosh. When he was in the Raptors, really, really good. He goes to the Heat, takes less money, gets a dip in his averages. He goes for the ring, but everyone's like, oh, he's not that good. He was different in Toronto. And people really only look at the averages or the points. It's not about what you did on the court, because we all know that they were capable of bringing their own teams to at least the playoffs. Well, I think they could have if the Timberwolves were in the East. I think they could have made the playoffs at least one time, but they were capable of carrying teams, and with a little help, they would have easily gotten to the playoffs. So it all depends. For me, I would honestly think it's Paul George, just because he's the player with like the most off-ball versatility, and even then, his numbers can't go down that much. And also, you have to wonder what the lineup's going to be, because there's obviously going to be, for the regular lineup, it's obviously going to be point guard Russ. Center is going to be, I'm thinking it's going to be point guard Russ, shooting guard Paul George, small forward Carmelo Anthony, power forward Patrick Patterson, and center Steven Adams. But they can also do like a small ball rotation, and they can do a big man rotation too. For like their small ball, you can probably put Carmelo, or you can put Patterson at center, put like Carmelo at power forward, probably put like Paul George at small, Russ at point guard, and then get another shooter and shooting guard. Or put like Andre Roberson there. And you can't really go like big man, but you have a small ball lineup that can compete with the Warriors' depth lineup right there. So I think they're in better position. The one thing that kills them is that I don't think they're going over the luxury cap now. But what happened? I always wonder what would happen if they kept James Harden. Because I think that was I haven't been like living for that long. So in like my years of living, that's the worst trade that's happened in the NBA so far. I honestly think that's the worst trade. You just trade like a future MVP candidate just because you didn't want to go over the luxury cap, but now you're going over the luxury cap. And if this doesn't work out, it's going to be a long cut. It's going to be a really long rebuilding session, because you can't you can't like plan it out. Like you can't even put that in 2K. You can't put that in live. I don't care if you have all the sliders. The only way you're doing that, if it's a My League, Man League trade and stuff like that, that's the only way you're getting Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden. They had a perfectly drafted team. They were the Warriors before the Warriors, basically. But the only difference is that they didn't want to pay all that money for the luxury tax, and that's what made them trade James Harden. And now look where they are. They're paying the luxury tax when they could have done it back then, and they would have had a better chance at a championship, because that's before the Warriors were dominant. That's when the Heat, they still lost to the Mavs. They were still vulnerable. You kept your team, they would have more likely won at least one championship. You probably still have that core together, you're building, and now there's a legitimate threat. Actually, the Warriors probably never happened, this massive super team, because you always have Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook and James Harden to keep them down. I mean, look what happened last time. Look what happened the last time Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook were together. Game 7, they probably should have won that series. They both choked. You add James Harden, they can keep the Warriors on their heels, and there's actually competition in the West. I mean, for the East, you never know. I don't know what's going to happen there, because that might as well still happen. They might still go to the West. But, I mean, the East is always going to be, the East is like it's in a lower tier than the West. It has been for a while. They have to like get balance equal, but I don't know how but you can't really like equal the balance. You can't really make the balance of the two conferences equal, because that's mostly like if the players want to go where they want to go. You can't like force them to go somewhere. So that's probably gonna take a while, because it has to naturally balance itself out. But if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. I do like this new super team. I just don't know. Hopefully it works out, because we need some competition for the Warriors. Like Enes Kanter said, just please beat the Warriors. That's all for today. Double upload. That's a treat, I guess. I mean, I'll probably do it more often. I have a new series coming up. I'll put like one video out, and if you guys like it, then I'll probably continue it. If you don't, then you'll never hear of it again. You'll probably never hear of the Dynasty again. That's all for today. 2KC and J, I'm Carl, and we out. Peace.
First off, I ain't playing no games. Y'all bet your brain, have your face looking strange. Ay, no face so they can't find your name. So I'll catch a case and I won't leave a trace.